What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some more NBA news to, of course, be talking about with you guys. In today's video, what I actually want to talk about is the recent reports that suggest that Marc Gasol is reportedly a name to watch for the Golden State Warriors, and they somewhat have their eyes on him right now. And this is all being reported by Anthony Slater. So kind of how the whole Marc Gasol thing with the Lakers was such a weird thing. Like, we all knew that Marc Gasol was going to be regressing quite hard, you know, before he even got to the Lakers, really. Like, his time in Toronto after the first season there, or the half of the year that he spent there, he really did start to regress quite a bit. And then it was just kind of a bit of a weird, you know, question on why did the Lakers sign him. You know, they signed him and brought him in. He did not play that good. He still was 40-10%. From 3, I believe, which is, that's pretty good, you know, kind of percentage right there, which, again, hey, it's not bad, 41% rather, so, you kind of take that, especially from a center, but 5 points, 4 rebounds, it's just not, it's not a great thing in 20 minutes, and his defense was not good this season at all. Then they kind of replaced him with Andre Drummond, and that just didn't work. Drummond was terrible for the Lakers. It was never going to work, because Drummond's like, only purpose in the NBA now is to get rebounds. That's why I always thought he should have gone to a team like Charlotte, who desperately need a rebounder, but I guess that just wasn't in his cards. He went to the Lakers, who already had enough rebounders at the time, and now they got rid of him and brought in Dwight Howard, did this and that, and I think they will be going a little bit more small ball next season. I'm assuming Dwight will start at center, and then AD will start at power forward, unless they just decide to say, hey, let's roll AD at the 5, which apparently there was a rumor that AD would actually be considering doing for once, which would be crazy because we know how Gensey is playing the 5 for some reason. But then, you know, you look at that as a complete entirety right there, and then you look at now that Marc Gasol ended up, like, getting waived, I believe, and now he's a free agent. So, would he be good for the Golden State Warriors? In my opinion, I can't see why not. I can't see why you wouldn't get Marc Gasol. You know, it's not like he will do really much for their team, but he seems to be a pretty good locker room dude. He still has a really nice 3-point, you know, ball on him. And if you can get him to be like a 15th man, that's pretty good, because again, he will be really nice for them in terms of developing James Wiseman, who, hey, we're looking for a big season out of James Wiseman. If Marc Gasol, who reinvented himself as a 3-point shooter and was always still a really good defender, if he can teach James Wiseman some really good defense, you know, teach him all these moves and all that type of stuff, and then teach him, you know, how to shoot threes more consistently at that, you know, height and build, I'm sure James Wiseman would be able to learn quite a bit, you know, from a player like Marc Gasol. Maybe that's what Marc Gasol can kind of get brought in for. Considering I believe they've still got 1 or 2 roster spots left, you know, Nico Mannion was, I believe they were going to sign him up to a roster spot, then he ended up going back to play for an Italian team, I believe. Then Chiozza, they signed on like a 2-way deal. Again, I believe they'll still have a spot or 2 left. They're really looking to get some, you know, a point guard here and there, which, hey, they desperately need back a point guard. But when we look at their center depth, the center depth isn't great. You got James Wiseman, who, hey, I hope he has a good season. I think he will have a good season. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you compare him to Darius Garland, who you might be like, why would you compare a center to a point guard? It's not in terms of they're a similar player or anything. It's actually they've got a similar story, in my opinion. And unless Wiseman just becomes utterly trash this year again. But the reason I'm saying they could have a similar story is because Garland was kind of drafted, you know, with high hopes that he could be a really good player in the NBA. But he kind of was drafted straight out of high school because he only played like 5 college games. So he really jumped straight from high school to the NBA. While Wiseman was kind of a similar situation, he kind of just went straight from high school to the NBA. And both had a really bad rookie season. People were saying Darius Garland's one of the biggest busts that they've seen, and he's going to be terrible. Then somehow, to the shocking everybody, Darius Garland came out and had a fantastic season, averaging around like 17.5 points per game and like 6 assists or something like that. And towards the end of the season was averaging like 24 and 7. My man was just doing absolutely good and looks like he's going to be the franchise player of Cleveland. There is no reason why James Wiseman can't do that. He 100% can. But then if we look at the rest of the center depth, you know, you got Draymond Green who'll probably play a bit of small ball center here and there. Kevon Looney's there, who he had a lot of injuries, here and there at times this season, and he had a bunch of injuries in the 2019 season as well. He's just had a couple of injury-riddled years, here and there, which, kind of sucks for him. I don't know if he will really be that valuable to this team long-term. I'm guessing he'd just be a nice rotational piece, but yeah, you'd think bringing in another backup dude would kind of be nice in Marc Gasol. Just to be a 15th man that could play some, not good defense, because you don't expect him to play good defense really at all at this age. But again, he can still be a good three-point shooter and could still be a pretty good veteran for this team, and could potentially develop James Wiseman to being an even better player than what he already is, which would be kind of the thing that you would be looking for the most. Like, if Jared Dudley could get a contract for the last 2 years, I don't see why Marc Gasol can't. Marc Gasol, who knows if he's as good as a locker room as he is, who knows if he's as good as a leader. I'm not too sure, but I know damn well Marc Gasol has a good three-point percentage, and I'm pretty sure he'd be able to help develop a center here and there. Or maybe we're getting absolutely, jinxed out here, and they actually don't want to bring him in as a player. Maybe they want to bring him in as a coach. We have heard a lot of rumors. I believe he got an offer from Barcelona, but I don't feel like he's going to go play in the EuroLeague yet, because I feel like if he was, he already would have gone, because I believe he was offered a deal after the Toronto season, go play in the EuroLeague, but he went to the Lakers instead. Now he's been offered another contract to go to the EuroLeague or Barcelona or whatever team it is. I'm pretty sure it's Barcelona with Paul Gasol. I feel like if he wanted to go to the EuroLeague, he might have already done that by now. So maybe he's just waiting until he gets an option here and there, which, hey, could happen. And maybe the Golden State Warriors are that team. We've seen they've done a couple of things this offseason, going out and bringing in a lot of veterans. They brought in Otto Porter Jr., who's a dude that will be going into his prime, will be about 29 next season. Still only 28, right now. Draymond Green as well, they decided to keep him, which is great. I'm glad they didn't look to trade him. They brought in Andre Iguodala, who is 37 years old, add some veteran leadership here and there. Nemanja Bjelica, which I don't really rate necessarily that much, but he's 33. They're looking to bring in a backup point guard as well, who, will be a veteran. Apparently looking at Isaiah Thomas. Quinn Cook's not a veteran, but I guess as far as a player that would come into the Warriors and has been on the Warriors for multiple different seasons, could be just a Golden State veteran. Not many players last more than 2 seasons on the team in the NBA anymore, and I believe he played 3 or 2 seasons for them, and apparently they're interested in him again, so it'd make it 3 or 4 seasons. Plus, he's played a bunch of other years for multiple different teams. But again, it is really, really interesting to see how they're all going to go about this. Marc Gasol, to me, would be a good veteran to bring in, but I definitely still feel like they should have their eyes set on a backup point guard first. But I believe they got 13 roster spots taken right now, so that would mean 2 more. If I'm mistaken, it's probably only 14, which doesn't help the case to bring in Marc Gasol. But if it's 13, that might be a reason to bring him in. Again, we've heard they're interested in Darren Collison, Isaiah Thomas potentially, and maybe even Quinn Cook. It's a couple of pretty good veterans that would help out really nice, whether it's in the locker room, adding some scoring to the team, adding some leadership, and just being a dude that's, been there and done that on an NBA court, which would be very valuable right now for the Warriors. That's their priority, in my opinion. Get a backup point guard. But again, I don't think it would be bad to go out and get a backup center, considering I don't know if playing Draymond Green as their backup center really works in today's NBA anymore, so Marc Gasol might be a good option. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA news and NBA content. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRO/long channels, and check out my new podcast channel if you haven't already, which I will all be linking in the description down below. I've been uploading clips on there daily, this and that, so yeah, go and check that out. And comment your thoughts and opinions. Should the Warriors go out and get Marc Gasol? Of course, I would really like to know. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.